Welcome, we are the Ancestral Medicine Women. And today what we would like to talk to you about is this concept of government that you have called democracy. And you might think, oh, that's a very strange thing for these women to talk about, these ancient women who are healers, who present themselves to the world as individuals that want to bring human beings to their own point of healing. Why would they talk of something like democracy? But we find that the world that is around right this moment, the governmental world, the human world, the planet, that the idea of democracy is no longer applicable. Perhaps that's what we can say. You might then say to us, well, what do you have in mind? Dictatorships, kingdoms, queendoms, totalitarian rule, communist rule, what do you have in mind? And what we would like to say, first of all, is to talk briefly about democracy and then to offer other possibilities, because there's never just one possibility. But democracy itself, let's look at that quickly. Democracy, when it first began, was designed to give all citizens a vote, all citizens a say in the way that their country, place, community was run. But let's look more closely at that. Citizens. Citizens were men. Men of a certain type, men of a certain age, men of a certain education, and so on and so on and so on. Not women, not the slaves, not other workers, but just a particular group of men. These were the ones that ruled, that decided, that democratically voted for what was the best thing for the group, for the community. And let's be honest with each other. Nothing has changed. It is exactly the same way. Certain people can vote, and people say, well, every citizen in every country who is democratic has a vote. Maybe, maybe not. Every citizen, yes, but there are lots of other people that reside in the country that are not citizens, and those decisions impact on them. And even the citizens that do vote don't always get what they vote for, and don't even get what they do vote for. So democracy itself is not always the best governmental system, the most honest, the most productive, the most fruitful, and the most beneficial. Even when you look at governments now, who really governs? You might vote for one party and that party might get in. Do they keep their promises? No? Yes? If they don't keep their promises, why do they not keep their promises? Do they not keep their promises because the corporations that are behind them, that supported them, the individuals that are behind them and supported them, the lobby groups and so on and so forth that are behind them and supported them, might have given lip service to that kind of promise, but when it really comes down to it, there is no way on this earth that they are going to actually participate in that kind of policy. So, you vote for them, but you don't actually get what you vote for. So democracy is something that is for only a few people. It seems like it's for everybody, for the benefit of everybody, but it's only for a few people. And everybody else just has to suffer what the few decide is the right thing for everybody. And that decision, what is the right thing for everybody, what informs them? What decides for them what is right for everybody? Is it really an altruistic sense of humanity that they make these decisions, or do they have ulterior motives? Do they have their own agenda? So democracy, from the point of view where we are standing from the Spirit, is not the best thing for humanity. It's not the best way that you can live. So, what is the best way that you can live? People will say democracy is the only thing. There are a lot of communities around the world that do not have what you would call a democratic, the current democratic governmental system. It might seem more democratic because everybody has a view, everybody has a point, and when we say everybody, we mean everybody. But there are other systems where instead of looking at the human needs, they look at the needs of the environment around them. And they consider humans to be part of that environment. Not separate, not superior, not different, not better, part of that environment. And that's what we would suggest. For somebody, and there are plenty of intelligent human beings out there, to actually design a way of government that is based on environmental needs with the understanding that humans are part of the environment. If you could have a form of government that looked at the environment and then looked at all parts of the environment separately and then together, we suggest to you that you would have one of the most harmonious, productive governmental systems ever created, ever experienced, not just on this planet, but perhaps in all of the galaxy. Because you are looking at the environment as a whole, not as little parts of it, little countries, little communities, but you're looking at the environment as a whole. Now, we are not talking about what some people fear, a one-world government. That's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is looking at the broader view of the environment. Perhaps it's just your community. Perhaps people need to start small and just look at their own community. And start to look at that community, not that they need extra roads and extra buses because they need to get children to school and they need to get people their food. No, but to look at the environment and say, what does the environment need? We are part of that environment, so we have to look at our needs, but not as separate from the environment, but in tandem with the environment. So democracy is a way of government that has flourished with humans for a very long time. We would suggest not because it works, but because it has suited a few people who have had a lot of power and a lot of money. And they have told and enforced, advertised, manipulated everybody else into believing that democracy is the only path of government, the only way that everybody or the majority can be satisfied. We would ask you, as we finish now, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied? If you're not satisfied, then we would suggest to you to start developing, start devising, start looking at other options. But we would ask this question again and ask you to ask yourself again and again and again. In my community, in my environment, in my country, with my government, am I satisfied? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, well done for you. We wish you a very happy life. But if the answer is no, then a change is afoot. A change needs to be made. When you make a change, you have to make a change to something, or be ready to replace what you've gotten rid of with something else. Not just with what was before, in a different word, in a different guise, and with a different name, but something that you actually want. So start devising, because democracy is not going to last in this planet forever. But if you're not ready with something to replace it, democracy in a different with a different name and a different guise is exactly what you're going to get. So prepare yourself and ask yourself, am I satisfied? We thank you so much for listening to us, and we hope that in some small way we have benefited your own development, your knowledge, and that of the planets. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Blessings to you, our friends. We are the Ancestral Medicine Women, healing from the past, for the present and the future.